Do you have a small business? Are you planning to start a business soon? Do you hate the current bank that you're using now because it's old and archaic and hasn't changed its policies or updated its tools since your grandparents were alive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, this is the video for you. The banking needs of each small business can vary drastically. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through which are the best business checking accounts for virtually any bank in any situation. I'm also going to be covering the 10 key criteria that you need to be evaluating when you're searching for a bank so that you can find the perfect bank for your business. And if you just happen to stumble across this video because you're looking for a great bank for personal use and you don't own a business and you're not planning to own a business, then I made a video just for you. So click the link right here and I'll walk you through what are the best checking accounts available right now. But for the rest of you that are searching for a business checking account, make sure you stick around to the end because I've done a lot of research here and I really believe that I found some amazing options that can fit pretty much any situation. First of all, let's start by answering a very fundamental question that I'm sure many of you have asked, and that's, do I actually need a business checking account at this point? And the answer to that question is unequivocally yes. And the reason for that is actually pretty simple. You want to set your business up for success from the start. Establish great business practices early on so that you don't have to reformulate things or rework your business practices later on once you really realize that you do need a really functional business checking account. When tax season comes around and you've been commingling personal funds with business funds, your tax person is going to be really upset at you, or you're going to hate your life because it's going to make everything much more complicated and challenging. So do yourself a favor and set yourself up for success from the start. Not setting up an account would be almost like a Major League Baseball player showing up to a game without a glove or a bat and just hoping things will work out. It's definitely not best practice, and if you really want to be considered professional and look professional, you definitely want to have an account. Now, the next most important question you should ask yourself will dictate which type of bank and which type of bank account that you should seek. Do you need the account to conduct routine transactions, to collect revenue, and to pay vendors or pay employees? Then you're definitely going to want a checking account. If you have a business set up where really all you need to do is just have a place to store your money and let it grow, then you probably want to be looking for a business savings account with a higher yield on the return so that you can earn a little bit more money on that versus a standard checking account. And another really fundamental question that you need to ask yourself is, does my business need to deposit cash into the bank? Am I dealing with significant cash transactions? If that's the case, you might not want to be using a digital-only bank that makes it a little bit harder to deposit cash, and you might want something a little bit more traditional with a brick and mortar location or many locations spread across the country so that it'll be a lot easier for you to deposit cash. And then finally, do I want to have a face-to-face relationship with my bank? Do I want to know who I'm talking to? Do I want to be able to speak personally with the bank manager? Or would I just prefer something that's optimized for the 21st century with an all digital platform where you might not have a personal relationship, but you have a great user experience? Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there are 10 key features that you should really be aware of and be evaluating as you're looking to go with any bank. Now, which of these is most important to you is definitely going to differ business to business and person to person. So we're going to walk through what these 10 are and then make sure you determine for yourself which of the ones are deal breakers for you, which can you be flexible on, and which don't really matter at all. So first and foremost, number one is type of bank. Is this a traditional brick and mortar bank? Is it a local credit union? Is it a national chain? Or is it a new startup innovative digital bank? Now, each of these are going to have their pros and cons. I did hint at them earlier. So if you really want a personal experience, if you want to see somebody face to face, then definitely going with a traditional brick and mortar bank will probably be the best fit. If you don't care about that as much and you just want the most digital, most user-friendly and simple to use online platform, then definitely going with one of the more modern digital solutions will probably be the best fit for you. Number two is monthly fees. So these days, the vast majority of banks, at least the good ones, aren't charging any fees, or if they are charging fees, there's a lot of ways to get around them, whether that's having a certain amount of cash in your account for an entire month, and usually these minimums should be pretty low. So if you have a bank and you're paying fees, especially if they're significant each month, then you absolutely need to switch banks and do it quickly. Number 3 is transaction limits. A lot of banks will put limits on the number of transactions that you can make. So if you fully expect to have a high volume of transactions, maybe you have, a lower price point product that you're selling, and so you're expecting hundreds or thousands of transactions to be coming in and out, then this might not be, or one specific bank might not be a fit for you, whereas another might be a little bit more flexible, so keep that in mind. 4th is cash deposit limit and ease of cash transactions. So as I mentioned, some of these digital banks might not really have an easy way to deposit cash into the bank. And if they do, it might not be as easy as some of these other banks where you can just walk into a location, deposit your cash, or deposit money into an ATM. So definitely want to keep that in mind if depending on how your business recognizes revenue and what types of transactions that you have. And then each bank is definitely going to vary on the number of cash transactions that or deposits that they'll allow you to make before they start charging a fee. So keep that in mind as well. Number 5 is the minimum opening deposit amount. Some banks are going to require fairly small, a couple $100s. Some might be, up to $1,000. So another thing to keep in mind as you're evaluating banks. Number 6 is ATM access. So this is going to vary, of course, from bank to bank. The bigger, more traditional banks are definitely going to have a lot more ATM access, and probably ATM access that is free of ATM fees, whereas a different bank might be a little bit different story. They probably have a partnership and they might charge some fees. It might be a little bit more difficult to pull cash out of an ATM. And then for number 7, of course, you want to be considering any additional fees that you might incur. And some of these could be foreign transaction fees, they could be overdraft fees, insufficient funds fees, so on and so forth. There's a lot of other fees that could be attached to the bank. And of course, this could impact your financials depending on how you expect to be using the bank. Number 8, and definitely a very important one, is integration with third-party tools. So if you have some sort of bookkeeping system like QuickBooks, you want to make sure that whatever bank you're using will seamlessly integrate with that, just to make it that much easier come tax season, or really at any time, so you can facilitate your accounting process. Number 9 is included tools. So each bank is going to have different features, right? One bank might offer a really great mobile app and mobile banking solution, whereas another might not. So these are all features and tools that you definitely want to be aware of. One of my favorite ones is check depositing with my phone. I think most banks should have this at this time, but again, there might be certain features that you really care about, and so make sure you're looking at that. And then number 10, last but not least, interest. So if you're expecting to keep a lot of money and a lot of cash on hand in the bank in a savings account, you want to make sure that there is a reasonable interest rate that you'll be accruing on that money, so that you won't be getting eaten alive by the crazy inflation that we're experiencing right now. All right, now that we've walked through the key questions that you need to ask yourself so that you can understand which type of bank you need, and we've also walked through 10 key features that you should be evaluating across any bank that you're looking at, I want to share with you guys the 3 banks that I think could fit for pretty much any situation. And I'll be sure to leave a link in the description for all 3 of these banks. So if you're interested in any one of those, you go ahead and click that link and we'll take you to their website. And first up would be my personal favorite and what I think is the overall best, especially if you're looking for a really seamless digital and modern solution, and that would be Relay. All right, starting with Relay. So this is their website. You can see it's really clean and clear. Again, I think it's a fantastic product. I do use Relay, so I'm familiar with the platform. So first and foremost, FDIC insured up to $250K. So pretty much like any standard savings or checking account that you might use for personal reasons would have this same FDIC insurance. And they also have a MasterCard zero liability protection program. So pretty cool. Here's the user interface. So you can see both app and web-based platforms, which are really clean, really clear, really simple to navigate and use. I've found the user experience to be really top-notch here. And then pretty cool looking card. Some of the things that they're marketing here, no account fees. So again, a big one for us here if you're looking for a bank without fees. Up to 20 checking accounts for you to easily separate and organize your cash if you have different lines of businesses that you want to keep separate, or want to separate some payroll or whatever, then you have the ability to customize this. And then 50 MasterCard debit cards. So that if you have a larger team and need to split those out, then you can definitely do so with this bank. And then, like pretty much any bank these days, they have automatic ACH transfers, of course, transfer automations and payment automation. So you can set all that stuff up, of course. And then here you can see they have a pretty great method of categorizing your spend. So you can see exactly what's being spent and where it's being spent. And then of course you're able to see if you have multiple team members, you can see who's sending or who's making payments on the account and what they're spending it on. And a really, really important piece here is access to third-party or integration with third-party apps. So they have QuickBooks Online and Xero that they can sync up with. And then other tools, like you can see here, Plaid, Gusto, QuickBooks Xero. So your accounting integrations, your payroll integrations, and then any payment systems that you might use, or at least the most popular ones here. And you can see a list of those here. And then a really, really cool feature that I like here is that you can give access to a number of accountants or bookkeepers or other, finance professionals that you have within your organization. And you can also give them different levels of access. So you can see on here, there's administrator, bill payer, read-only, super administrator. So you can give different levels of access to each person and allow them to manage finances however they need to do so in your business. Cool, so that's pretty much it, the basics here for Relay. Again, a platform I really like, definitely highly recommend, but not for everybody, right? So let's get into the other two banks or the other two situations and see what might be best for them. All right, the next situation that I want to cover is somebody who wants a great digital experience, a great overall banking experience, but also has a need to deposit a lot of cash. So maybe a cash-heavy business, and this would be with Axos Bank. So Axos Bank has personal accounts as well as business accounts. So we're gonna start on the small business banking side here. Pretty cool right now, $200 bonus for new business owners. So just use this promo code NEWBIZ200 on your application, so pretty cool. And let's take a look at some of the offerings that they have. So they actually have a number of different accounts that you can choose from. So pretty cool, and each of these has a little bit, different flavor to it depending on what you need. So as you can see, basic business checking, moderate account activity, no monthly fees, no minimum deposit required to open an account, so pretty simple. And then they have a business interest checking account at 1.01% APY. Not the best yield you can get on a savings account, but for a checking account, this is actually pretty strong. And then they have a couple others here. You can see premium savings, business money market, nonprofit, and they have some CDs and some other products here. So definitely worth checking out. But we're gonna start with the basic business checking. So here in the basic business checking account, again, we saw this pretty cool bonus here, $200, but let's take a look at these features here. So no initial deposit, no monthly balance, no maintenance fees, first 50 checks free, unlimited domestic ATM fee reimbursements. So really, really cool. Again, if you need to deposit or if you need to pull out a lot of cash frequently, then this will definitely be a fantastic solution for you. Visa debit card, QuickBooks compatible, unlimited item processing, dedicated managers, 60 items per month for remote deposit anywhere, 2 reimbursed domestic wire fees per month, and again, as I mentioned, cash deposits via MoneyPass and Allpoint networks. So they do have a limit on those, and so if you exceed that limit, you do have to pay a small fee for every transaction, but that's going to be the same with virtually any bank. But again, I think this is a really great solution. So, and of course, as a strong, digital player here, they do have, great mobile banking solutions, online banking, and customer support like any other bank. So a great option here as well. And then for the third recommendation that I have, this is for somebody who really appreciates an in-person experience, maybe a more traditional bank with a larger brick and mortar presence, where they can go into a physical location and speak to somebody real. And my recommendation here would be Chase. Now, Chase is definitely a great bank and a great account. I do think the other two banks, Relay and Axos, have a little bit better features and a little bit more customer friendly. But if you're really gung-ho on getting a very stable, long established bank, and maybe you already have a relationship with Chase through credit cards, or maybe you do banking with them personally, again, I think they are still a great option for anybody looking for a business checking account. So here, looking at their website, I'm on the business side here under checking accounts under banking solutions. And here they also have a $300, an option to earn $300 when you open a checking account. So pretty cool. And they have 3 different flavors of account that vary in services and fees. So Chase Business Complete Banking, which is $15 or $0 if you meet some requirements. And then Performance Business Checking, the requirement here is definitely a little bit higher. So we go from a $2,000 minimum daily balance to $35,000 beginning day balance. And then for the Platinum Checking is a $100,000 combined average balance. So we're going to start by looking at the Chase Business Complete Banking. Again, I think if most people are opening a bank, they're going to be looking for something that's a little bit smaller if they're just starting their business, and later on have the opportunity to scale up. And here's some of the features here of the Chase Business Complete Banking. So it's a small business checking account, of course. It covers all the essentials, really most of the features, or really all the features that you would generally expect out of a bank. Obviously, you'd be able to get from Chase, being one of the biggest banks in the world. So you can waive that service fee if you have a $2,000 daily balance, and unlimited debit card and Chase ATM transactions, and up to 20 teller and paper transactions, and $5,000 in cash deposits per statement cycle without a fee. And then if you do go above that, then of course you start incurring a fee. So if you expect to deposit more than $5,000 a month in cash, you're definitely going to want to evaluate this versus Axos, the other bank that I suggested for cash heavy businesses. And then there's some other features here that I want to cover. So there's more than one way to waive this monthly fee. Again, it's $15, so it's not massive. But again, the $2,000 minimum daily balance, or $2,000 in purchases if you have one of their Chase Inc. credit cards, or if you're making deposits using their payment platforms, or if you're linking a Chase private client checking account, or if you have proof of qualifying military status. So definitely more than one way to waive that $15 fee. And again, they're covering some additional account features here, but I think for the most part we've covered these, and really it's just the traditional banking experience that you would expect from a large national bank, which for some people is going to work fantastically and is going to be exactly what they're looking for, and some people might want something a little bit more tailored to the experience that they want to have. And of course, Chase has a very heavy brick and mortar physical retail location presence, and they also have a great mobile banking app, so you definitely won't go wrong there either if that's what you're looking for. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you could do me a huge favor, smash the like button. Be sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss any more future videos from me. And if you have any amount of savings sitting in a traditional savings account that isn't earning much interest, definitely want to check out this video right here, where I walk you through what the best CD accounts are right now, so that you can hopefully get a little bit more return on that money and not get hurt so bad by inflation right now. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.